Shalom, shalom. Call Elohim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash and Shani Kabad. Gadawala Requabs Aquanium Nawa Wa Shalayakim Nawa. That's the belongings to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Shalom Wa Barakim Lapakarium Shalayasharala. And that's peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. And as always, may a double portion of the Holy Spirit be put upon all the brothers that are still offering your bodies as a living sacrifice, pushing out this word in truth and in sincerity. So I just wanted to make a quick video concerning the age of the earth. And a brother kind of asked me about it and suggested that I make a video about it. So I just wanted to do that. So I'm going to start reading here in the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 9. Actually, I'll start reading at verse 8. And the powers, and this isn't a Genesis chapter 1 breakdown, so I'm not getting into deep details. And the powers called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So when you read verses 1 through 7, you get an understanding of what was created in the first and second day. So now verse 9, and the powers said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And the powers called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and the powers saw that it was good. So now, of course, we're seeing that the land being created, the waters or the seas being created, the powers saw it that it was good. And then verse 11, and the powers said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. So now we're seeing the nourishment of the earth and really the availability of what just naturally the earth offers. Verse 12, and the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind, and the power saw that it was good. Now verse 13 says, and the evening and the morning were the third day. So everything we just read happened on the third day. So the actual creation, and really we can say the finishing of the earth was on that third day. So now from there, what we have to get an understanding of is realizing that one day is not literally referring to what we know as 24 hours. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. So when we read about in Genesis chapter 1, it says the first day, the second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day. Those are referring to 1,000-year increments. So on that third day, let's jump back. Genesis chapter 3, and that was verse, Genesis chapter 1, and we started reading at verse 8, verse 13, Genesis 1 and 13, and the evening and the morning were the third day. That's referring to 1,000-year increment. But of course, we can say the third day. Now, when you read the entire chapter, then we see that everything was created and finished within 6 days, or 6,000 years. And then the powers rested from their works on the seventh day, or basically that 7,000-year increment. So everything we can just say being done and resting happened within 7 days or 7,000 years. Okay? So now what we do from here, after we have that understanding, is we jump over to 2 Ezra, the 14th chapter. And we're going to start reading at verse, we'll start reading at verse 10. It says, for the world hath lost his youth, and the times begin to wax old. For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are gone already, and half of a 10th part. Now, this is what we have to understand. Sometimes there's a play on words, and you'll hear somebody, and nothing is wrong with it, and I'm not saying anybody's incorrect, because you just have to have discernment and a little bit of understanding to realize the difference. Sometimes you'll hear brothers say earth, sometimes you'll hear brothers saying world, when referring to that particular topic that they're speaking about. Now, when the scriptures say world right here, verse 11, for the world is divided into 12 parts, it's referring to the entire creation. It's not referring to the actual earth itself. The entire creation from day one, or that 1,000-year increment, the first 1,000-year increment, up to where we are now. So for the world is divided into 12 parts. Now these parts right here aren't referring to regions or areas or different sections. They're referring to those 1,000-year increments. So the world, everything, is divided into 12 1,000-year increments. For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are gone already, and half of a 10th part. So now we take 10 and then half of the 10th part. So that's 10,000 years, and then half of that 10th part gives us 9,500 years. So 9,500. Let me just leave it there. 9,500. Now what proves this is when we jump over to 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter. I believe it's the 7th chapter, and it's verse 28. I'll start reading at 27. And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evils shall see my wonders. And that's what we're looking forward to, being delivered, salvation. For my son Yahushai shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. So now we all know the scriptures sometimes round up, sometimes they round down. So now we can say 400, maybe 500 years. So basically, Ezra is writing this and is living during the time of the Persians. The Persians were thriving around, let's just say, I don't know. I don't want to put a true time stamp on it. Or we could just look it up. You can look it up, but I'll just say maybe like 450s, 460s, 440s, somewhere around there. You can look up when the Persians were in power and when they ruled. This is around the time that Ezra was on the earth right now. So with that being said, remembering that this is around 9,500 years that have already passed, if we take an extra 400 or 500 years to round up and we add that on top, we're now at 10,000 years. It's now at that year, 10,000, the 10,000th year that Yahushai came on the earth, that you can kind of call year zero now. And then, of course, after Yahushai's birth, the world likes to say AD. Are you following? You have 9,500 years, around 400 to 500 years goes by, like we just read in 2nd Ezra 7, verse 28. And then you have Yahushai's birth, year zero. And then, of course, from Yahushai's birth up to now, as of right now, as of what we know, we're in year 2020. So about 2,000 years have gone by. or we can say 2 days, but really 2,000 years. So now we take 10,000, we add on another, 2,000 years. Then now we're at 12,000. So remember, 2nd Ezra's 14, and it said, verse 11, for the world is divided into 12 parts. So now we're in that 12th part right now. So 12,000 years, 12 parts of 12,000 years. So now this is all you do. You take 12,000 and you minus 3, because that's when, remember, the earth was created and the actual earth itself was finished. Not the world, but the earth. There's a difference. So 12 minus 3 is 9. So now we'll just round and we'll say maybe give or take 9,000 to 10,000 years old is how old the earth actually is. 9 to 10,000 years is the age of the actual earth itself. Of course, 12,000 parts is what the entire world is divided into. There's a difference. Esau liked to tell you that the earth is around millions and billions and gazillions of years old, and that's not the case. We understand through the scriptures, of course, we have the 100% truth of these scriptures, and this is how you understand the earth and, of course, the age, its development, and really just other secrets. You go precept upon precept. So I just wanted to bring that out concerning the age of the earth. I do pray that it was edifying, and Lord's will, I did my best to just simplify it, really just make it as elementary as possible. So with that being said, I do pray that it was edifying. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chakwadash, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.